We take you to Parliament, where the minority is accusing the central bank governor of acting illegally over a decision to lend government some 10 billion Ghana cedis to shore up the economy following challenges with the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, they currently are cautioning him there will be accountability post-2020. Now, the request for the amount was tabled by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta in Parliament on Thursday, where he also disclosed some 5.5 billion Ghana cedis had already been released.
The Minister of Finance, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, and the Controller and Accountant General, as required under Section 30 of the Bank of Ghana Act 202, Act 612, as amended, have agreed to trigger the emergency financing provisions under the law, which permits increasing the limit on the purchase of government securities by Bank of Ghana in the event of an emergency to help financial residual expenditures. Mr. Speaker, government therefore decided to launch a special COVID-19 relief fund program with a size of Ghana cedis 10 billion. The coupon rate is pegged to the prevailing monetary policy rate of a 10-year tenor and 2-year moratorium on both principal and interest payments. I'm pleased to announce that the Bank of Ghana released the first tranche of the facility amounting to 5.5 billion to the Ministry of Finance on Friday, 15th May 2020.
The minority spokesperson on finance, Kesil Atoforsen, described the move as illegal. He says the decision by the bank to print more currency notes for government would also endanger the economy.
The Minister of Finance is trying to ask Parliament to give him approval to borrow from Bank of Ghana or to get Bank of Ghana to print for the Ministry of Finance or Government of Ghana an amount of 10 billion Ghana cedis. 10 billion Ghana cedis. Today, we are aware that the central bank has breached this threshold. What they have done is that they have printed, as at last month, an amount of 5.5 billion Ghana cedis already and has given to the government of Ghana, breaching Section 30 of the Bank of Ghana Act. The law is clear that any time you reach that limit, you have to come to Parliament. What they've done is that they have breached the limit, gone ahead to print more money to fund government operations without coming to Parliament. And so they just wanted to cover up.
Kesil Atoforsen speaks for the minority on finance. Away from Parliament, personnel of the Nima police and inmates of the cells there are to be retested for coronavirus as a suspect tested positive. This is according to the Nima Divisional Commander, ACP Ibrahim Akwe. He spoke to the media after Zoom Lion disinfected 70 of their cells, police stations and barracks in Yakra region. Maxwell Agbaba has more.
And I think it is one of them. Yes, one of them who was brought here tested positive. Yes, so we have already taken him and sent him to Accra, right? Yeah, where he has been quarantined. And that is even the reason why this exercise has come at the right time. Yesterday, we arranged with Dr. Tunyakon to dispatch his men to come and then do another retest. We want to make sure that nobody has been infested. Yes, he has given us assurance that roughly by Friday or latest by Monday, he will send his team to come and then retest all the personnel as well as the inmates.
The coronavirus pandemic has changed every aspect of our life, including policing. Well, the team has also been disinfecting the barracks, the cells, and all the offices here at the airport district police headquarters. I've been speaking to the commander, who has been talking about how helpful this disinfection exercise is going to be to the police service.
The policing of it is very hectic. It's very difficult because we have recalcitrant people in society who are not respecting the social distancing and what have you. The protocols are not being observed to the latter. So sometimes you encounter such difficulties and we have to educate them. Sometimes we get in touch with recalcitrant ones that they have to be brought to the police station at least to be, educated properly. Very helpful. I know it's going to go a long way to help us because we have a lot of clients coming to the police station every now and then. They come to touch our doors, our tables, our chairs, and what have you. Others come and they will sneeze and all that.
I've been speaking to the Accra Zone General Manager of Zoomlion, Ernest Morgan Aqua, who says that today's disinfection exercise marks the last day, and they've been disinfecting about 70 police stations.
Today marks the last day of our disinfection of the police, and we are tackling all the police stations in Accra today. So far, so good. You know, everybody is happy that we are doing this exercise, and actually they are calling for more. Places that we have even done already that they suspect incidents of the virus are calling us to come and do it again.
The team has also been disinfecting the East Legon police station. We've been speaking to the divisional commander, Chief Superintendent Bismarck Ejipon, and he says that they are no longer detaining minor offenders here because they want to adhere to social distancing protocol. He has also been talking about all the measures they've put in place to ensure that the inmates and police personnel here are safe from the virus.
We don't have many inmates. We have made effort to actually people who come here with minor cases to be on bail, get sureties to sign for them so that they'll be reporting rather than keeping them and putting everybody in custody. So that is one measure. And if you look around, we have these Veronica buckets, we have sanitizers, and we make sure before people come in, they wash their hands and they sanitize their hands. Also, if you look closely at the charge office, you know, we have made effort to space out by creating a social distance.
And we have to end the news, but before we go, this one, we take you to the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi. And the World Health Organization says leaders of some countries have suggested detection of antibodies to SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, could serve as a basis for immunity passport or risk-free certificates. Now, the development also means individuals could travel or return to work, assuming they are protected against reinfection. But how is that going to impact the world generally? Virologists and immunologists at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Mohamed Mutuchelu, discusses the pros and cons of such a move.
If your neighbor is infected with COVID-19, and my neighbor is infected, and 90% of us are immune to the disease, then it means 4 out of every 5 people come into contact with a person having COVID-19 will go unscathed. That means the disease is put on a tight leash. So you need about 70 to 90% of the population to be immune to achieve herd immunity. And so we are free. Everybody is free. And therefore we need a certificate. Or we don't.
Immunity passports, if you remember, for yellow fever, when you're about traveling, they said, well, go and get vaccinated, and then you are certified. So when you get to that country, they know that you are immune. So it's something similar that people are calling for COVID-19.
Are you immune for life once you recover from COVID-19? Well, it was reported in South Korea, 260 patients tested positive several days after recovery. And such reports have come from China, Italy, some about 70 days after recovery.
We are aware, all of us, you know it, I know it, that once somebody recovers from COVID-19, the person naturally gains immunity to the virus. People think that once they have recovered, that is it, they never will be infected any longer, but there is no evidence. And that's why they are calling for people to be certified. Now, when they are certified, there are advantages, like when they have the immunity passport. For instance, frontline workers. There are a lot of frontline workers with underlying illnesses. We can move these people to backline and put those who are certified, who have recovered from the viruses, to the front line, because the probability that they would succumb to COVID-19 is very thin. Then we want companies to go back to work. So if there are people within those companies who recovered from COVID-19, we could certify them for them to go about their duty normally, so these companies survive, and so on. So there are advantages. There's a big but there. The caveat there is that there is no guarantee that once you are infected with COVID-19, you are immune for life, like for measles and rubella. You know, for measles and rubella or chickenpox, once you survive, you are immune for life. That's not the same for COVID-19. It is still not documented that people who have recovered are immune for life and hence do not pose threats to their neighbors or to their surrounding communities. So that is the caveat. That is one. Another thing is that when you have certified people, then they begin to disregard the public health protocols that the government has put in place. They say, oh, we have immunity, so we want to go and gather. In doing so, they flout the regulations and will spread. You have to measure the levels of antibodies before you would know, you would establish a titer or levels that are protective. That has not been established yet. And another disadvantage of using immunological assays are that they do cross-react. So maybe COVID-19 antibodies, instead of detecting specific COVID-19 antibodies, serological assays or immunodiagnostics will be detecting MERS-CoV antibodies, which we don't need, or SARS antibodies.
A virus, like the flu virus, mutate over time. So antibodies produced for the previous infection can only provide protection for some time. If SARS-CoV-2, the virus which causes COVID-19, behaves like the other siblings, MERS-CoV or SARS-CoV, then we expect protection from few months to some years. But it can't be for life. To have immunity passport or not to have immunity passport, let science lead the way. My name is Kwesi Debra for Joy News.
And the key thing is to keep protecting yourself. We're doing our best. We're trusting God that we will be fine. This is still the AM show. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at what the newspapers are reporting and what the online portals have as well. You want to join us right after this.
Well, thank you for joining us, and we have to do the newspapers.
Of course.
Yeah, great.
You want me to start, right?
Yes, I want you.
It feels like bullying, but that's okay. All right. I like to bullying.
Oh, how? Okay, I'll start. I'll do the Daily Guide. Beginning story, the front page story of the Daily Guide states, Obinim fights 1.6 million Ghana cedi tax as Ken drags him to Yoko. And this never end in Ghana. But up there we have court strikes out some George suit. The story is on page 6 of the paper, and it's also indicating that the court also asks him to pay 6,000. Application brought under Order 55 struck out as paid for non-compliance, and the cost of 6,000 Ghana cedis is also awarded against the applicant. The judge ruled. All right. We also do have Bono East confirms COVID-19 case. We told you that when we brought to you that live interaction. The second of the weekly or the bi-weekly briefings that we have from the National COVID team that you always watch live right here on Joy News. Instant cards for voters, we're told, Charlie, sharp,
A bad piece. Okay.
Will be the first time it will happen in Ghana that we can register sharp.
But it would be nice. It would be nice to see that happen.
Yeah, they said any child, NIA will do so.
Okay.
We want to cover a place right here on the show around Jowulo. Charlie, Eligible persons who turn up for the forthcoming voter registration scheduled to commence at the end of next month will receive their cards instantly. The Electoral Commission has announced. Jara Safari, come down, save the people of the earth.
Well, are you all right?
I'm very all right.
Okay.
Now let's go to the back page of the Daily Guide. And the Daily Guide on its back page has a story. It says, let's rally behind Akono. And it's the GFA president asking all and sundry in football administration and the world of football to rally behind CK Akono, one-time player of the Black Stars, played for Düsseldorf, played for Dortmund, I believe. I used to watch his matches as well. I hope your son gets corona. And it's Watford captain in the news, Troy Deeney, saying people told him they wish his baby son would contract coronavirus after he chose not to return to training. Deeney did not want to put his child, who has had breathing difficulties, in more danger, and so raised concerns over the increased risk to Black, Asian, and minority ethnic players. I'm not sure it's because they were more at risk, but it was because they were not getting the right sort of care, they were not treated. So I think, I don't know, but it's an ongoing issue. And if you look at the statistics in America especially, it's the minorities, the Blacks, the Latinos, etc. who...
There's been a wave of protest for the past 3 days. I think it started on Monday, and it's still ongoing.
No, always a concern elsewhere
buildings have been
in
set
the West.
on fire and all of that.
Striker suffers knee injury after referee clash, and it's Borussia. One of my favorite, just the Norwegian. Okay, Borussia Dortmund forward Erling Haaland was injured on Tuesday in the match against Bayern Munich in an apparent clash with referee Tobias Stiller. Now it means that he limped off in the second half in the 72nd minute of the league leaders and defending champions win.
I think the Dutch usually say Tobias.
Oh, Tobias. Okay, he's not a Dutch. This is a German.
Yeah, that's
Tobias.
Dutch. Okay. A friend of mine has a son that's called Tobias. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Shall I go? You want me to go?
Yeah, I wanted to do one more, but
okay.
you know, women.
No, go for it. No,
women,
this has nothing to do with women. Anything, Bia. Please go for it.
Okay. So, Daily Dispatch newspaper. So we have the Daily Dispatch, has on the front page, countdown to easing of COVID-19 restrictions. Only final year students likely to resume. I concur, I agree to that. Churches on hold till after elections. That's bad. Charlie, I want to feverishly go to church. Winners Chapel, around Community 12. Charlie, I miss church.
The way you're saying it, I don't get the sincerity in it.
You've never believed me since, since you met me in your life. And I've known you for a long time.
If you miss the fellowship, yeah, that's okay. But church is you. Church is the relationship between you and God.
That's journalist explanation. Let's talk sorry. Now I'm for about one-on-one. I said, man, okay. The relationship with this, sorry.
The church is you.
Church is doing you. Temple of God. So Ben Afson is also insisting Yaho Tamaklo resigned from Alliance for Change, and this confirms Kwaku Bako's confirmation. So he's reconfirming. EC's report on IPAC meeting. It's out. So if you want to get a gist of it, please make sure you get to the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Let's go to the back page, and it's about the story on the countdown to the restrictions being eased. We're hoping that the president on Sunday will tell us how life is going to go, whether the restrictions have been removed. I think many people are expectant, thinking that we need to.
And you have the opportunity to hear yourself, hear your questions when you put them out to MFR Power on the lockdown on Sunday, usually before the president speaks. We don't know what time the president will speak, but if he's going to go by what he has done so far, then it's going to be around 9. I mean, people have called it an Ajun Komo and all of that, but you know, it should be around 9 or 10, thereabout. And MFR Power will be on at 7:30, so you can send your questions and your thoughts to her.
And Ajun Komo. Back page. Back page also has a certain, it's a cartoon, it's a drawing about how children in class will behave. That's the Daily Dispatch when school reopens. So the teacher is
yeah,
standing.
We've got the photo there.
Yeah, and monitoring. And then a pupil says, Miss, he's wearing my mask. And it's likely that you'll find children exchanging some of these things. Miss, he's coughing on me. Miss, he says my mask is cheap. A lot of things that children do for fun. They think it's fun, though.
But I think that some people have used this to communicate the confusion that may ensue when we go back to the classrooms, saying that and how children can perhaps put themselves at risk and their colleagues at risk as well, because someone will say, "Oh, let me take a look at your mask. It's nicer than mine. Let me try it." So
I think that, for example, if you have maybe from 10-year-olds upwards, they will be more controllable. And so the school owners and the management and the heads need to know how to treat those below 10. To say that maybe you shouldn't come to school because, I don't know, a KG or a class 1 pupil. And that's all this to put their life at risk. So those are some of them.
Well, we wait on Sunday to see how it goes. Shall I go? Is it my 10?
Yeah, it is.
Great. So Daily Graphic is what I have as usual. He always gives me Daily Graphic. I don't choose it. All right. So on Daily Graphic, we have about 5 big stories on the front page, and it starts with Daily Graphic determines mood, psyche of the nation. Al-Hassan Andani there at that editorial meeting that they reported, I think, somewhere this week. And then compilation of voter roll will use legitimate means to stop EC, and that story is attributed to NDC. It comes with a picture of Mr. Johnson Asiedu Nketia, the General Secretary of the NDC. Another story there is Vice President launches scholarship for doctors. Amazing stuff. That story is on page 13. Get a Daily Graphic and look it up on page 13 if you are a doctor or if you are a relative. The next story there is COVID-19 mom baby test negative. I don't know what that story is, but it's on page 26. And the biggest story of all, making the banner here, is BOG releases 5.5 billion cedis to cushion economy against COVID-19. If I read the first paragraph for you, it says the Bank of Ghana has released the first tranche of 5.5 billion of the 10 billion emergency facility that the government is seeking to support residual expenditures to cushion the economy against the impact of COVID-19. The Minister of Finance, Mr. Ofori-Atta, has said it has to do with a story in Parliament about the Finance Minister going there to get approval. And that's what the minority is saying, that you don't use it before you come to seek the approval. All right, so that's the story. You want to follow it in the dailies as well. If I turn to the back page, it says work on Tamale interchange progresses. And I mean, this is one of the biggest announcements that President Akufo-Addo made after the Yendi dispute was, I mean, the peace process in Yendi was somehow brought to a conclusion. And so it's a great development. I'm very excited for the people of Dagbon that this is happening in Tamale as well. If I read the first paragraph again, it says work on the Tamale interchange, the first to be constructed in the northern part of Ghana, is progressing steadily. The interchange, which is about 1 kilometer long, links the Kumasi Road through the Point 7 Road, the Central Taxi Rank, and the Central Market intersection with the Melcom and Bolgatanga Road. So development is coming. Hopefully this will bring jobs to the area and the youth there will be employed. That's my passionate expectation, that there will be jobs for them. And Tiger Force Group supports 37 military hospital. That's the story there. Let me take a look quickly at the center spread and what it has there, Roland. So President Akufo-Addo has granted charter to 2 universities. Do you want to know what those universities are?
Pentecost University, All Nations University.
There you go. So those are the 2 universities that are getting a charter. What it means is that they're no longer Pentecost University College. That's what they used to be. Right now, they're going to be Pentecost University. What it means also is that they'll be able to issue their own certificates, become much more autonomous. So good thing. Congratulations to the Pentecost University and the All Nations University as well. And this story brought to you on Joy News yesterday, that some Kuwaiti returnees tested positive to COVID-19. We were told initially that they've been tested, Roland, in Kuwait before they came, and that they tested negative. Well, the story we're getting from the Ghana Health Service yesterday is that some of them have tested positive.
So it means in Kuwait they were not positive. Right, in Ghana, that is in here, wow.
No, the thing is that
Kuwait no positive. Can't Ghana no, but
the thing is that one test may give you a false positive or a false negative. And that's why we have it as part of our protocols to test twice before we clear people as recovered, even though it requires much more resources. I think it's a good way to go. But, well, some of them have tested positive, unfortunately. Hopefully they will recover. And then another information here on the center spread is that banks will withstand credit shocks. That's coming from the Bank of Ghana's Dr. Ernest Addison. Okay, grab yourself a copy, or you can download the app of the Daily Graphic and get used to the stories there. Get yourself acquainted with those stories and informed as well. Shall I go on with the Daily Statesman?
Please
it comes with a picture of Sam George. Sam George, of course, the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram. It says, court throws out Sam George's
this is so wrong.
You kill a man in his own house, you mean?
Alias, this is so wrong.
That's so wrong. Okay.
This is so.
Okay. Court throws out Sam George's suit against EC with 6,000 cedi cost. Okay. I'm interested to find out the details of that particular story. And then Pentecost University All Nations gained autonomy. 900 doctors for free postgraduate training. Those are stories that are already captured in the Daily Graphic, but with a different angle here. As NPP fulfills another critical campaign promise. Of course, that's the Daily Statesman for you. Comes with a picture of President Akufo-Addo and the Minister for Education presenting the charters to the universities there. Back page is all sports. Premier League clubs agreed to resume contact training as 4 more test positive. Interesting thoughts, especially now that the Bundesliga has resumed. It's a bit scary, I must say, that some players are testing positive, because we know that they go through a series of tests before they play, but the Premier League clubs are agreeing to resume the contact tracing for those people. And Jan will receive a rousing farewell when he retires Okreku assures. So the Ghana Football Association, scared to Okreku as the president, is expressing readiness to give legendary striker Asamoah Gyan a befitting send-off when he hang his boots. Get yourself a copy of the story of the newspaper, the Daily Statesman. Take a look. Do I have permission to look at the front, the center spread, Roland? Okay, World Bank finalizes financial agreements to revamp tourism industry, and GRA urges businesses applying for TIN to be ready to pay taxes. Well, the GRA was just telling us yesterday or this week that there will be tax incentives for those who support COVID. Okay, now that we're applying for TIN, we have to be ready to pay extra taxes. Okay. We'll see. If you're a business, get to the GRA.
When you get there, it means that automatically you pay more tax.
No, that's what the story says.
That's not what has happened over the period. Of course, for those that do direct tax payments, you get to find
let me read the first paragraph. It says that the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Revenue Authority has said that all businesses now seeking to acquire tax identification numbers will be made to pay taxes after benefiting from the government's 1 billion COVID-19 alleviation business support program for micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises. That's the story. So you pay tax for benefiting from the COVID. Okay. I have the Ghanaian Times and the Finder. Do you want to go?
No, go.
With the others so that I will...
Okay, let me just go through. I have the Ghanaian Observer says Akufo-Addo committed to equitable distribution of health facilities, and it's a story that we played to you this morning, attributed to the Vice President. We also do have Abu Ramadan backing the EC over new register. It says current register not legally credible. Asasi Radio to take over the airspace. It's also in black caption. Right there. No, white caption, the black background.
Roland, you always make my day.
And now we have Akufo-Addo present charters to 2 universities. We do know them. An election on December 7 will happen. John Boydu has said on the back page. It's a story about. Let's do the Gold Street business. The Gold Street business has a story. Government juggles debt issuances, maturities, moves today to raise financing for debt maturing at start of next week. Now, there's also a story captioned, roadmap for easing COVID-19 restrictions expected soon. And COVID-19, MBSSI cautions businesses against using middlemen to access stimulus package. And we had the Deputy Executive Director right here, and he said, look, you make sure that you don't deal with fraudsters. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Ghanaian Times is reporting we'll build more SHSs across the nation. That's according to the president. Government to roll out economic rescue program. Finance Minister who is seeking approval for that 10 billion. Ghana sports reforms, the role of West Blue. It's a story on page 7 of the Ghanaian Times. And teachers won't go back to the classroom unless the story is attributed to NAT, Ghana National Association of Teachers. Get that story. And there is this story about the Ofankor landlord. They saying
that thing is in English. I'm asking. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure that people understand what I mean.
Yeah, sure. We all do.
Ofankor landlord killed tenants with registered gun. It gives us an update on the story that we brought you last weekend about the landlord who shot and killed a tenant. Said that the Accra Regional Police Command stated that the gun used by Victor Stephen Nanakankam in the alleged murder of Benjamin Oche, 31 musician, was legally acquired and duly registered. So get more of that story there as well. And then locomotive engine crashes into Goil fuel tanker at Takrady. Oh, dear Lord. Sorry about that. On the back page, UN marks International Peacekeepers Day, and it comes with a beautiful, beautiful picture of all-female. That's something that looks like an all-female team of peacekeepers, Ghanaian female team peacekeepers. Beautiful one. Kudos to all of them. We want district hospital, Chira youth. They are making that demand as well. What do we have on the center spread, if not the stories that have already been told on the front page? Comes with a picture of the charter being handed over to the universities. President grants presidential charters. Will build more SHSs across the nation. And 7 Akwemu communities receive reusable personal protective gear. We're grateful for that one as well. And teachers won't go back to classroom unless, that story is, okay, let me say, unless what? The Ghana National Association of Teachers says 8 members will not go back to the classroom to teach unless government accede to their proposals of ensuring maximum safety of staff and learners in line with COVID-19 protocols. That's a legitimate concern, legitimate request as well. My final paper is the Finder newspaper. It comes with a picture of the Vice President on that story. 918 receives government, or 918 received government scholarship for postgraduate medical training. And then the voters register compromise has been attributed to Abu Ramadan, who is saying that names of persons who registered with national health insurance cards still in the register. I think that so far it's only the Finder that, for me, the papers that I reviewed have actually reported on the voters register. The things that happened yesterday about the voters register, you know. The IPAC meeting, I'm not seeing a lot of that here as well. But Ghana's daily infection rate slightly decreasing. That's Dr. Bedu Sakode saying that yesterday at the press conference. ADRA supports hospitals combating COVID-19 with items worth 150,000. And on the back page, advert, let's find out what's on the center spread. Maranatha Oil, okay. Sandvik Mining donates, okay. Is deficit financing back? All right, those are what you have in the Finder newspaper. Get a copy.
Okay, before we do the main portal, myjoyonline.com, it's I know that we're looking forward to the president in his speech to give us a certain direction as to where we're going in relation to the restrictions.
Okay.
And it's important that we decide to take a certain direction so that when citizens want to do something, then they know that there's something ahead. But we need to complement that with ensuring that people adhere to the protocols. Even before the removal of these restrictions, we're seeing ordinary Ghanaians not obeying what we say are the normal protocols or the regulations. Wearing face masks that we usually would do, washing hands with soap and the running water, and then using sanitizers, maintaining the normal social distancing.
Like we have done right now. So
exactly. Now that feeds into the narrative at the beginning of this week that the national COVID team told us the hotspot had moved, for example, to the Western region, but for good reason. And it's because people are transporting themselves from one place to the other. And they are having this sense of freedom And while doing that movement, they're still not maintaining the protocols. I shudder to think what could happen if we remove the restrictions and ultimately we're not able to continue with the needed public education and following through with what needs to be done for citizens to obey these regulations. Because they are not enshrined in law, you can't go about punishing anybody.
I think there are local bylaws, etc., that the local authorities can use to enforce some of these things. And I mean, part of these are also in the executive instruments, I believe. I think the problem really has been enforcement. Who is out there to ensure that Roland wears his mask? And if he doesn't wear it, what sort of punishment comes to him? Again, this is a pandemic, so also punitive actions are not really what you need to ensure that people do the right thing. It becomes difficult. It boils down to education, and that leads to behavioral change. So behavioral change, education, that's what right now we need. And I don't know.
I think that is where our fault, the various MMDCEs, if not the MMDAs. Because after the National COVID team talks about all the things that government intends doing, and they say that we should obey, I think the MMDCs ideally should have been maintaining that sort of status quo where these will be implemented adequately. Because in communities that I'm very much familiar with, ideally, we should see, because of the way people live, maybe public announcements, whether they do it at dawn or in the afternoons, to engage citizens and keep reminding them. We have a social, cultural attitude in which if we don't have reminders, then we don't think that it's important for us to undertake certain protocols.
I think that's
and I think that we need to do that. It's something that is lacking. Otherwise, we'll be back. Because the World Health Organization has warned us. And even the head of the CDC in the US, Dr. Fauci, has said we could have some reinfections if we just perhaps relax what the mood should be and what the enforcement should be. I'm extremely worried in that regard, I think.
Well,
because it puts everybody at risk.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I try not to get worried because worrying won't add much to the problem or to the solution. I just try to look on the brighter side and hope that we will do the right things. But you see, the thing is, it's a human behavior. You know, it's a human behavioral pattern that people just want to feel the impact of their action before they take the right action. So I don't know, wherever you are, every now and then here on our platforms as a media, we try to put in these reminders. But like Roland was saying, and I agree with you, that MMDCEs should be able to, or the district, the assemblies should be able to take this upon themselves to give regular reminders to get people to do the right thing. But so Tarkwa and secondly Tarkwa, they were told are becoming the hotspots in the Western region. And I met some very cool people in Tarkwa when I visited that place. And one of them is watching us this morning. I'm taking Roland's Road today to wish, to do some shout outs. Okay. So undiluted Kobe Hazard says he's watching in Tarkwa. I hope that you guys are taking care of yourself. He's with Adjumpa FM. Thank you very much for watching. Keep protecting yourself and tell your colleagues to also protect themselves as well.
If I had done this, you have to do my job online. If I had done this, we'll say Rolando per request.
I've done one
shout out.
The whole week. I've done one shout out.
Yes, good.
Okay.
So you don't have friends?
But well, maybe I don't. Keep your request coming. I'll do the shout outs for you. You take over from Roland. All right, my joy online. State doesn't owe MPs anything, demands, well, hold on. Anything, okay, comma, demands for ex gratia repulsive, self-seeking. That's according to Professor Jampo. You want to take your time and click on that story, read it. And then there are also other stories that says social media user who instigated attack against Akufo-Addo granted bail. Okay, we brought you that story here about fake news, spreading of fake news and how the security agencies can track you down. People who feel invisible on social media and do all kinds of wrong things. We brought you that story. That guy has been granted bail, good for him. But he's been advising people not to take the actions that he took, you know. There's also a story about inside UGMC's isolation labor ward. Wow. There's a story there. Take your time and look at it. And then Sami Jemfi is there as well. Sam George's case kicked out is there as well. Abu Ramadan's meeting yesterday has been reported. And the Ghana Health Service apologizes for Tuesday's conflicting COVID-19 figures on the web page. If you remember, there was a particular figure, I think about 7,303 or so, and then the next minutes, about 15 minutes, it changed. They're apologizing for that mistake. That's it for your myjoyonline.com. Up next, we're getting sporty.
Yeah, definitely. And so we'll have Asari Bediako coming with the latest. Do stay with us.
Good morning, warm welcome to the Friday edition of the AM show, the sports segment. My name is Asari Bediako. Now, the EPL and the Serie A are back next month. Details a little later, but let's begin from Kumasi because Asante Otunfor Osei II has entrusted Kotoko into the hands of Dr. Kwame Kyei for a second time after retaining him as executive chairman of the club. Now, the businessman will head a newly constituted board of directors made up of 9 members, and we are going to check out the list of board members of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So Dr. Kwame Kyei is chairman of Unity Group. He is the executive board chairman of Asante Kotoko. Vice is Mr. Jude Arthur, vice chairman, board chairman, also Ghana Commercial Bank, and Mr. Kojo Boateng Jemfi, who is board chairman of Ghana Exim Bank. Mr. Kwesi Osei Ofori is CEO of Rockshore Mining, and Alhaji Lamin, who is a businessman in Accra, is also on the board. He's a former management member and board member of Asante Kotoko. Lawyer Kwame Mensah is a corporate lawyer. Mr. Joseph Yawedu is retired director of sports at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And Mrs. Evelyn Insiasari is acting head of sports at Sunyani Technical University. And Bafo Kwame Kusi is Otunfor's and Kobia Hene. So these are the board members of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, the newly constituted board of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. We go live to Kumasi and speak with Kobna Efri-Obin of Insha FM to get perspective on this new development. Hi, Obi, thank you very much for joining us. How have fans of the club reacted to this new development?
Well, good morning. I'm grateful for your time. Until the board is inaugurated, and if you read the statement of His Royal Highness, he indicated that certain additions will be made as far as this new board has before. Of course, the statement indicated that since the 3-member committee led by Professor Lydian Kansa are not done with their job, this was an interim report. Therefore, certain additions were made in terms of institutional representation. But a lot of these members of the board are not known. Therefore, it will certainly be the sort of job they execute. Now, in the opening statements of His Royal Highness's letter to the fans, indicated a blend of win maximization and profit maximization. And he spoke about the expertise bankers and guys from the sporting fraternity will bring on board. Of course, it's a major statement in terms of continuity, because if you check the history of the club, after 3 years or after your mandate, you are booted out. So it's back to the good old days, if I'm to put it that way, where you have a supervisory board monitoring and, of course, helping out with the mandate given out to the chairman. In the letter signed by the Chief of Staff, Kofi Bedu, he indicated that Kotoko will have to establish some social relationships with Asante Mine, and beyond that, establish an academy and push Kumasi Asante Kotoko to a certain level to be competitive on the African continent. Therefore, I'm sure in terms of the proper structural reforms or revolution, that will be presented to His Royal Highness after the committee's work. But in between time, there's a 9-member board of directors who ensure that Kumasi Asante Kotoko is properly regulated as far as the Premier League regulations are concerned, and will fall in line with the Companies Law or the Companies Act 992.
Obi, so what exactly do you think the fans expect from this newly constituted board members of Asante Kotoko? You've been interacting with quite a number of them since last night.
It's not new, my brother, in terms of the mechanics and the history of this club. Kumasi Asante Kotoko has had, an incredible list of top personalities and experts who have at certain points in time been associated with the club. At the end of the day, how is Kotoko going to win? At the end of the day, how is Kotoko going to be financially independent and maximize all profits associated with the club? Since those appointments is nothing new within the circles of the club or within the fraternity, only the job, production, as in the execution of the job and the performance will tell. And of course, that is indicated in time, because without time they can't do the job. But the supporters are quite calm at this moment. They know where the power is coming from. They know where the statement is coming from. They check the expertise of Mr. Judata. They check the expertise of Evelyn Siansari. They check the expertise of Mr. Lamine and the chairman himself, Dr. Kwame. There's a sense of positivism. There's a sense of progress. But beyond that, it's nothing new. And that they are just expecting these guys to come up with some innovative ideas that will blow their mind, and time will tell.
Okay, Kwabena Free-Obin of Insure FM, thank you very much for your time. We'll speak to you again another time. Now, the immediate task of the newly constructed board of directors of Asante Kotoko is to appoint a chief executive officer for the club. Now, former management member of the club, Kwame Baniakon, wants the new board to choose a competent person.
The board now appointing a qualified chief executive with corporate-minded. The chief executive is set targets by the board. He's giving funding, set targets, even including fundraising targets. If you want to be chief executive of Kotoko, you should be able to tell us how you are going to generate money, probably through the support base. Use the fund base as a ready source of funding. But I can assure you that you need to be convincing the supporters why they should put money into the club. You need to show them projects, the direction that you want to go, infrastructure. Kotoko supporters rely on hope that things will be well in the future. So if you are telling them we are going back to Adachi, we are going to build infrastructure that will serve the club for the next 50 years, so bring money for us to do that. That will allow us to also invest in the playing body, to allow us to compete well on the field of play. So
and you're welcome back to the show. This is still your AM show. We spice up your morning, try to get you in the mood to have a very busy day. I'm here with Roland Walker.
Yeah, definitely. And we told you about a big conversation we want to have about the creative arts industry, not in Ghana alone, but also across the African continent.
All right. So who are we talking to, Roland, today? We're talking to Zion Flex. He's a blogger here in Ghana. And then we're talking to who else?
We're talking to Joey Akan, a music journalist based in Nigeria. And then we have Molatello, who is a filmmaker in South Africa. All of them on stream.
Yeah.
Good morning to all of you.
Them, it looks like.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah. How do you pronounce your surname, Joey?
Akan.
Akan. Yeah.
Akan.
Joey, yeah. Right. Gifty, you want to go?
So you're welcome to the show, and it's good to have both of you. How is your morning going?
It's just going on pretty well. It's a good morning here in Ghana.
What pretty well means?
I mean, we've not had any problem. I mean, we are healthy. Everything is fine this morning. Just that, I mean, the coronavirus records keep increasing little by little. But I mean, apart from that, everything is going on well for me personally.
All right. And Akan, how's it going this morning?
It's Joey. It's going well. Lagos is Lagos as it is. The hustle is there, the bustle. lots of good spirits. So yeah, we can't complain.
Okay, I will come to Lagos and find out what's happening in Nigeria. So here in Ghana, I'm interested to find out for you how the story has changed for people like yourself, bloggers like you. How has the story changed since COVID-19 as far as what you do, the creative arts, etc., is concerned, from your perspective?
For bloggers, things have changed as it has in every aspect of the world or in the country, because we used to go out a lot to cover events, and then, as you know, as a journalist, now no more press conferences because of the directive that no social gathering. There should have been a VGMAs. I think even the Free Music Awards was supposed to be held, but because of the coronavirus, there had to be a virtual concert. I mean, there are so many events that were cancelled because of the coronavirus, the social distancing, the social gathering issue. So for bloggers, we've been hugely affected, especially those who even work on YouTube. Some of us who get our revenue from Google AdSense, some of us who do advertisement for people, brands, because the people who are supposed to go out there and purchase their product are afraid to go out, especially when even the lockdown issue came in. People will not be able to go out and purchase products. So advertisers had to pull out. So when it comes to revenue, we lost hugely, and then traffic to websites also, we were immensely affected. So bloggers weren't left out with the effect of this coronavirus.
I would have thought that because people cannot have face-to-face interactions and personal human-to-human interactions and all, most of the activity has been online. And so I would have thought that would rather have increased, traffic, for example, online traffic. Yeah. Isn't that the case?
It will increase online traffic, but the advertisements that will give you the revenue went down because people are not going out to purchase the product. And then everybody puts money into advertisement because he or she wants to get revenue. Brands advertise because they want to get revenue. But if I'm advertising and then the people are not allowed to come out to purchase, then there's no point for the brand to advertise. So advertisers weren't putting cash into advertisement. So revenue wasn't coming in like that. People would stay home, read content, come on Instagram, see your stars, go and watch your YouTube videos. But the revenue that it brought was lesser than before the coronavirus issue came out, because people weren't going out. People weren't interested in going out to purchase products. They were afraid that if I go to this particular show, if I go here, I might be infected with the virus. So advertisers weren't getting revenue, weren't getting results for the adverts they were doing. So they were pulling out of all those things. So you might get a visit, but the revenue wasn't coming like that.
I got you on that. And I'm going to bring Joey in, but Molotelo has joined us from South Africa. Molotelo, it's good to have you. We're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I was just asking everybody how their mornings have been. Let me ask you before I go to Joey, how has your morning been?
Johannesburg is very cold. As you can see, I'm warmed up now. But otherwise, yes, I'm ready and look forward to this conversation.
Okay, we'll come back to Joburg later. Let's go to Lagos and Joey. Joey, what's the story there? So here in Ghana, we're hearing blogger Zion Flex say that, look, there aren't activities for you to even cover. There aren't activities for you to make news out of, and to get people to follow. He's also saying that those who used to place adverts with them, didn't really get the value for their money, essentially because people were not purchasing. The purchasing power had gone down because of coronavirus. What's the Nigerian or Lagos story perspective to this?
Okay, thank you very much. For me, it's way different. I think I have some shared experiences with him. But for me, a lot of it's the opposite. In this period, during the lockdown, yes, of course, the events were gone. I was meant to go to the US for the South by Southwest. That was canceled. And so, yeah, of course, you lose money, you lose some other benefits that would come from having all of this access to the spaces. But on the contrary, on the other side, I've been doing a lot more deeper work. A lot more deeper work. So I founded a newsletter and a platform of some sort during this period. And then instead of chasing stories that are event-based and all of that, I just went straight to the stars. Within the past few weeks during the lockdown, I've published interviews with Asha, with Davido, and a few others. So content generation has been a blessing for me because the city is calmer now and I can move around better. In terms of advertising, some campaigns have slowed down. Some brands are not putting their money into a lot of things were halted. But in that time also, we've seen certain ad hoc and innovative campaigns that have been sparked up by the period and everything that's happening around now. So yes, there's been some revenue that's coming from that. For the artists, because what I do understand from this show is the entertainment industry. For me, on my part as a music journalist, as a culture connoisseur, that's different. But for the artists, I work with artists. I'm in their business. I'm also a music exec. So what we've seen over this time is in terms of revenue for musicians, we've seen the live scene experience the greatest hits in the music industry. So people are not performing live, people cannot gather, people cannot congregate. It's also affected how songs are being promoted because a lot of the music that's coming out, what amplifies it over here in Nigeria is shared spaces, shared moments. So if people cannot turn up to your song together with their friends and have like a lasting connection to it, it affects how it's being absorbed. For the musicians themselves, a lot of them have told me that they've had, a lot of them and the people, some of the people I work with, they've told me that they've had difficulty creating. They don't think the crisis, the pandemic, it's getting to them, is affecting them mentally. We've seen a huge increase in the amount of, for me, I've seen a huge increase in the amount of people who have held back verses, who have not been able to record. So that's another way. But on the contrary, also, the benefits of the period, we've also reported a lot of artists focusing more on strategy. Because this period, they can't do anything. They can't go out. They can only just record and, try to, engage. So they've developed new strategies to engage with their fans. We have artists going, releasing music and focusing everything digitally. We have artists creating content, turning into content creators. We had a proliferation of Instagram lives, and all they've done with those Instagram lives is, hey, listen to my record. Hey, I have this new record come out. Engage with it a different way. So yes, there have been winners, there have been wins, there have been losses, there have been winners, there have been losers. But we're still here. That's what counts.
What I get is, and I'm going to hand you over to my colleague soon. Right. What I'm just getting is that it looks like people are taking advantage of the situation differently, and it's about what opportunities you see and how prepared or positioned you are to take advantage of that situation. So, Roland, you want to bring Molatello in?
Yeah, and I know that for South Africa, it's a bigger industry than we have, apart from North Africa and on the rest of the continent. Now, that would also mean that a lot of festivals, especially for film and music, will be cancelled. Ultimately, what have been the alternatives for the organizers of such event and even the artists to make some money into the account in the first place? Molatello.
I think the COVID-19 breakout really caught everyone by surprise. We didn't see this coming. So a lot of events this side have been cancelled, like it's being the world over. But what has happened, what I've seen and noticed is that, we are now in the fourth industrial revolution, and a lot of us have been quite reluctant into taking advantage of the 4IR. And I've seen that through this COVID-19 breakout that we are now taking advantage of the digitization of events, how artists have come out and started hosting their events online. Although
Okay, we lost.
Yeah, it looks like the link to
this loss where we have seen a new era where things have started to, to be done differently, and also the South African government have. I mean, if you think of it, if you are in the entertainment industry and that is the only way where you generate income and you make a living out of it, so it means during this lockdown you are not generating anything. But what the South African government has done is that they have set up schemes for those whose events have been cancelled, those who have lost money in the process, to sort of generate something out of it. So people have been given or given grants in this regard so they can, keep living. But I can tell you right now that I believe that soon after this, the entertainment industry in general is going to change. How we view and how we entertain ourselves and how we consume, it's going to change completely. South Africa has gone, we started off with level 5 of the lockdown where there was no activity whatsoever apart from essential services. And we have now eased down the regulations where we are on level 4. And from next week, Monday, we're now going to level 3. So the economy, is going back to, being active. But the entertainment industry, filmmaking, yes, we still have productions that have been given a green light, but under very strict restrictions. They have to make sure that they adhere to social distancing, they wear the masks and all. But music events, for instance, your festivals, nothing whatsoever until we get to level 1. So we see a situation where up until September, October, around there won't be any event whatsoever. So I think it's an opportunity. Yes, there's going to be a lot of loss in revenue for artists, but I see an opportunity like your Black Coffee. Black Coffee has been hosting events online, and when you check the numbers, massive participation. People are joining in to watch his performance. So it's an opportunity for artists to go back to the drawing board to say, with 4IR, with us, going nowhere, what can we do to make sure that we stay relevant and still be able to live?
And it's Zion Felix still up on stream?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now there's one thing that artists or the industry in South Africa and even Nigeria or Northern Africa tend to take advantage of. That is online downloads, online streaming. Within this period in Ghana, we've seen portals or Netflix become the thing for everybody. They've gone for Wi-Fi's for their homes and offices, etc. What do you think, based on your interaction with the artists, have been their mainstay and the plan they intend to use to sustain themselves, maybe in the next 3 months and even after coronavirus, having spoken to them within the period?
For the artists, most of them want to do the virtual concert, but in Ghana, data is expensive. And then some people you pay more for data, but even the service itself is a problem. So the artist is thinking of, going to have a concert, spend a lot on the concert, and then earning almost close to nothing. On a concert is a problem for them because in this period, most people don't want to actually sponsor shows. Even them, when we used to go out for concerts, and getting sponsorship for shows was a problem. So now the artists are trying to come up with new strategies to also get money. And in Ghana, most people do not stream. Most Ghanaians do not stream. Most Ghanaians do not buy songs online. Most of them go online to just download the songs and enjoy them in their cars and then on their phones. So the artists are having issues generating income during this era. So most of them are still planning on how to get money during this time that there are no shows for people to come out and buy tickets for them. So still they are planning for how to entertain their audience. Some of them are doing some short videos online, doing acapellas, recording themselves in the studio to put online to entertain their fans. And some of them are even monetizing their content on YouTube because their channels on YouTube are monetized. So as soon as they put the content there, and then people go out there to watch on YouTube, they get something little. But with a virtual concert that some of them are planning, they're still having second thoughts on them, since nobody is paying to watch them, and then they're not getting sponsorship for them. Some people have brought ideas where the fans can pay something little to join them online and watch. But as to that, whether the fans will pay and watch or not, it is another question that people are asking, because the internet itself that we have to use to watch is a problem in Ghana. So if I pay, let's say, 100 cedis for a show, and then my data is not that good, how am I going to enjoy that particular concert? So in Ghana here, the artists are having it problematic in getting revenue from their shows. And when it comes to the movie people, it's also an issue for them, because most of their revenue in recent times were from the premieres. I mean, they will tour Ghana, they will go to almost all the places. But now there's no social gathering, you can't premiere. So you have to wait till everything is over before all the movies that you shot in the past, you can premiere them and then you can put it out there. Else, unless you put them on YouTube for people to go and stream them or watch it over there.
Talking about data, well,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but perhaps it's something that has to do with data.
Now, Joey, I remember a week ago I was watching what they call the X Switch or so. It's almost like some virtual concert that Tiwa Savage and then Tubaba, who used to be called Two-Face, convened. Now, for Nigeria, I know your population tends to help you, but how does that translate in these times when we're using virtual platforms into revenue for these artists when they have such virtual concert, for example?
Okay, so I'll get to answer that, but let me stretch this conversation on streaming and revenue, since it's all in the same ballpark. For streaming, it's for us here, our artists here, a lot of our numbers, even before COVID-19, a lot of the numbers from Nigeria do not come from Nigeria. We're a nation that's still developing in terms of IP, streaming, IP technology, all of that. We adopt a lot of it, but right now, in terms of streaming music, it's still an uphill task. What helps us and what has helped our artists over time is the penetration of our music in a lot of non-traditional Afrobeats markets. Like in Kenya, we're dominating. Even in Ghana, some of our songs have a lot of penetration over there. In different markets too, we have East Africa is very good for music, so a lot of streaming comes from there. We've seen cities in Europe. Let's say Afrobeats has traveled really well. So for artists, the only artists who have a huge complaint during this period are those who have not traveled with their music. But for every other artist that's worth their salt, they have traveled. They've traveled with their music, and so streaming is not down in any way. In terms of virtual platforms, we've had people embrace, yes, of course, due to social distancing around the lack of crowded spaces. We've had to switch to these platforms. Recently, the United Nations, in partnership with MTV Base and the World Food Program, the UNICEF, World Food Program, they created the Africa Day celebration, where they brought together where they brought all the artists together to perform in their houses, and they created a show, a good show. I watched it for 2 hours. A very good show, hosted by Idris Elba. Tiwa Savage performed from Nigeria. Davido performed from Nigeria. Rema performed from Nigeria. Adekunle Gold performed. He's in the US, but he performed also. From Uganda, we had, I think, C4 Pedro. From Togo, we had Tufan. From South Africa, this lady performed. Shoma Josie performed. So now we've seen people adapt this. The only problem we've had, that the industry have had, is how to translate this into money. It's good for charity. It's good for humanitarian causes, but how does it put money in the pockets of a lot of people? Facebook, they're launching a paid tier for live streaming. Facebook, Instagram, all of the people who belong to Mark Zuckerberg, all of the platforms that belong to Mark Zuckerberg's portfolio, they are launching all those things and people are taking advantage of it. But in terms of, and then also certain live battles that we've had like certain live battles here where great producers have come out to, celebrate their work in relation to another great producer. And artists also, MI and A2C did something recently. Mastercraft had one with Fields. And what we have seen is certain brands have decided to tap into this and say, okay, we can't do a lot of experiential marketing with your events, but you're doing this online. And what we're doing is, okay, put a brand in front of your screen, place us in your vicinity, let people, catch our brand, and we'll give you some money for it. It's still, but we're advancing, we're rather adapting it. So yes, revenues are down, no doubt, but I'm very, very particular about how people have been able to innovate. And so far, it's not as fast as we want, but good things take time, and growth is a very painful process. So that's what's happening now.
Monatello, you talked about how the entertainment industry is not going to be the same post-coronavirus or from today. What are you envisaging? Why are you saying this, and based on what observation? Monatello. Right.
I guess we can give the same question to
Yes. And Joey, what will change post-coronavirus?
Okay, post-corona, a lot will change. Previously, I had this campaign. I'm always, getting into trouble for being very vocal about the things I want to happen in my industry, the music industry. For music and media, for music, what would change would be artists. It's become, for years now, we've subsisted mostly, and a lot of Nigerians artists have subsisted mostly on live. They've depended, all their money has come from the live scene. Private performances, lump sum payments from these appearances and all of that. Well, it's all changing. But what coronavirus did is it showed everybody the fragility of such a system. You cannot build a system where the only way you make money is live. Multiple streams of income it has to happen, and you can't rely on the brands. You need to be able to sell your music. So yes, we've seen what would happen post-COVID is we'll see a lot more artists take their IP more seriously, because that's if all fails, you would know that as long as people play your music, as long as people can access the art that you're making, you're going to make money. Another thing that's going to change is we're going to have echoes from this time in terms of live performances. We're going to have echoes from this time. We've seen platforms adapt their services to accommodate performances, accommodate shared moments for music and entertainment. We also recently in the fashion world, Anifa, yeah, that's her name, Anifa. She had an entire collection on Instagram Live with CGI and everything. It blew the fashion world away. Cannes are doing their festival online. A lot of film festivals are happening online. So we'll see echoes of this. You don't have to, if brands do not have a budget for a lot of things, they can either move their events online and find a way to make their economics work, or what they'll do is they'll put like certain sections online. So yeah, we've become more aware of the power of digital platforms for entertainment. Also, a lot of things will have to change around how art is marketed, how art is distributed. In terms of marketing, previously a lot of marketing happens with the DJs and everybody, but now we've seen people go online now and say, hey, we can't get into the clubs, we can't get into the spaces. And I'll take, for example, a very good artist here that has been able to take advantage of this period. It's called Black Bones. Underground rapper before, former underground rapper, now a buzzing artist. What did he do? He dropped a song named Haba. And what he's done is he's found a way to market it so hard online, using every space, creating skits, creating a lot of skits and getting into people's spaces to grow the numbers. We'll see artists take advantage of that and revamp their marketing. For movies, for movies, a lot of people depended a lot on cinemas, on the cinema culture. Nigeria, yes, we have just over less than 50 screens in the country. But what would happen now, what will happen a lot more is we'd have people embrace streaming platforms more. We have Iroko TV. Netflix is making a big play in this market. So we'll have more people embracing those channels for distribution. We'll have more people moving distribution away from spaces that are confined by, physical presence and into clouds and virtual spaces. That's what I see post-COVID.
Well, we'll try to open the phone lines very soon, but let's again go back to South Africa, and then let me see whether Molatello is on the line. If you can hear me, how will, based on your observation, the industry change post-coronavirus or from today?
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Thank you so much. I was just saying earlier that you either swim or sink. So as a filmmaker, I've used this time to say, what can I do to remain standing? And I think this is the conversations that we are having as filmmakers, as actors, as creatives around the world, to say the situation has presented what we may see as
Molatello, I don't know.
We can direct that question to Zion Felix. Zion Felix, how will the industry change from today, based on what you have experienced so far, Zion Felix? Zion Felix, can you hear me?
Okay, let's open the phone lines now. You can reach us on 0302-211-691 or 0302-211-692. That's the number to reach us. Try and give us a call. Let's hear what you think. If you have a way of generating content online yourself, has it been affected by COVID-19? We want to hear from you. What do you think that these people within the industry can make of the situation and make money anyway? I mean, I've watched a lot of movies since COVID-19, and I believe that a lot of people rely also on movies to keep themselves entertained, get their minds off the corona madness and all of that. So one of the things I was hoping to get Molatello to talk about is how the movie industry can cash in on this, make more movies, promote it more, and get people to be more involved, whether it's even possible at all. But let's hear from you. That's the number right there on your screen. You can also WhatsApp us. The WhatsApp number, by the way, is not for calling, so don't call us. Just send us a WhatsApp, and we'll read your message to the rest of the world. I got this message here that says, Roland, I'm enjoying the show. Kindly keep it up. Thank you for enjoying the show. Yes, Godwin is calling from Asinfosu. Hi, Godwin.
Hello.
Godwin, you're on air.
Yes, okay. I just want to know, it's a question that I want to ask, if the government is planning on anything for the upcoming artists, because they are the ones that need the help most. The established ones have already made it, and they can do their things to gain money or gain income. But the underground or upcoming artists don't have those capacities. So I'm just asking if there is anything the government is going to do for them. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not sure if, I mean, we don't have government to speak at the moment, but what we know is that, Roland, you had an interview with the NBSI.
NBSSI.
NBSSI.
Yes, and they said there's a package, 600 million Ghana cedis. And for those, Joey and Molatello, that's approximately divided by 5. Then you'll get to know how much. So basically, it's about $120 million to make it available.
Yeah, so essentially that money is available, and if you qualify, you can access it. I think that's,
but it means you need to have a business, sort of. Yeah.
But Molatello said that the government in the South African government
has made available some stimulus.
Yeah, maybe she can share with us. That's if we get a stable connection with her. She can share with us how it is done in South Africa, and then we have our own experience. We see how we can compare notes from there.
Molatello, are you online? Oh, thank you, Godwin, as well. Are you online?
Okay.
Okay. Zion Felix. Zion too is not in. But Joey, what's the experience that you've gathered around, not only in Nigeria but elsewhere? Are African governments willing to give packages? We've heard from Molotelo, who says South Africa has some good packages for the industry, the film industry. She was specific.
Yeah, of course, different governments will always have to weigh in because, you know, COVID-19 took a lot of political hit on it, and, you know, COVID-19, you know, it won't last forever. Lockdowns, quarantines, they won't last forever. We need to keep going. So in the meantime, a lot of people have introduced ways to save their industries. In Nigeria here, the creative industries have gotten nothing. I think the government's mostly been focused on the really poor people. Just think for those who do not know, Nigeria has the highest amount of poor people in the world. Yeah, the highest gathering of poor people in the world. Over like 90 million people are in extreme multidimensional poverty. And so imagine these people in an informal living in an informal economy where they, depending on an informal economy where they have to literally eat from hand to mouth, and they make money every day to be able to survive on a daily. Yeah. And so the government been targeting them with most of the palliatives. For the creatives, we've been left in the cold. There are lots of complaints on the music.
Well, we have to take this call from Ivan, who is calling from Atiko. Ivan, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, we're having this big conversation on the entertainment industry, not only in Ghana, but the rest of the continent. You have questions or you want to make some contributions, we'll be fine.
I want to make some contributions.
Please go ahead, Ivan.
My point of view is this is the time for the network services to partnership with the artists. Because in Ghana, for instance, the free download is too much. The artists don't generate a lot of income. They are most dependent on the streaming side platforms. So the partnership like the network services, Tigo, MTN, they need to partnership with the artists so that the free download, at least it comes down a bit for the artists to generate a lot of income. Because the artists are really suffering. That's my point of view. Thank you.
So what do you mean by that? That the telecom companies will ultimately partner with the artists and they can direct the audiences or the population to their site to stream?
I mean, like, for instance, when an artist puts a project out, a song, I'm saying about a song project.
Very well, very well. Go ahead.
Okay. When he puts a song out, sites like Dark Nation and stuff, they don't help the artist. They don't help the artist. And when a fan downloads a song from Dark Nation, for instance, the income goes to the network service.
Yeah. Sure.
You get me?
Yeah. So virtually the artists are working in these times for the networks, you're saying?
Yeah.
That's why the network need to help the artists.
Yeah, so they get the data.
I get there's a good business line.
Okay, I have some messages here. This one says the impact of COVID-19 on the entertainment industry cannot be ignored as coronavirus affected everything globally, i.e. health, education, economy, our social life, etc. It has taught us a lot of lessons to always widen our horizons in the way we deal with issues in our lives. From Abdul Razak, General in Tamale. Sent that message in. You have a question for Zion Felix. He says that I want to, okay, hang on. He says, good morning, please. I wish to be a blogger in years to come. I want to ask Zion Felix for me. I want you to ask him for me how much it will cost to become a blogger and the process I have to go through to become a blogger. Listowell is asking from Kumasi. I think all you need is internet and the experience. No, not the experience.
Buy a domain or create one.
Yes, and then to be a blogger. But Zion Felix can give him some answers.
Is Zion still on stream? Okay.
Okay.
Right. Joy. Okay, Joy is not.
Okay. Do we have any caller on the line? Well, I still have a few messages here. Let's see. Okay. We have someone on the line.
Yes, we have Moyo. Moyo, where are you calling from?
Molotelo.
Molotelo.
Hi.
Great. So, how does it work in South Africa? The streaming, how do the artists benefit, so to speak, and the filmmakers? So
internet challenges.
Yeah.
So that's the impact of COVID-19 on our conversation this morning as well.
Let's go to Chibi. We have Daniel on the line. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning, Willan. How are you doing?
Chalade. Daniel, go ahead. You want to make a suggestion or ask a question?
Yeah, a suggestion.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, to my opinion, I think the entertainment industry needs to sit to the government and then talk about the concern about the data system, whereby they can reduce it, and people can also patronage the data and they can stream mostly things online. Because as Zion was saying, the data packaging and the other prices are very high. So when you go online, it affects the individual as well. And then the system in Ghana here to people a lot of suffering and other stuff. So I think that there should be a negotiation between the government and then the music industry and then the internet stakeholders so that they can reduce the price for us, so that we can also stream things online. Thank you.
Well, no, don't go here, Daniel. Even in Accra, the stream or the internet use is not stable. How is it in Chebi? Daniel?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm saying that even in Accra, the internet is usually sometimes not stable. So I'm asking, how is it in Chebi, for example?
Oh, the net is very bad. Hello.
Yeah. One of those things. We're just asking the same question. He's experiencing a bad network.
Yeah. So this message is coming from hardtruthgh.com. He says that thanks for the program and this opportunity. I am a content creator, a blogger to be specific. This number is not for calls, okay? So don't call this number. You make it difficult for me to read the messages when you call. You can call the 0302 number, but don't call this number, please. So he says, I am a content creator, a blogger to be much specific, and since the outbreak of this pandemic, it's all been great. I think because most people have happened to be indoors, so they're always on blogs, reading and entertaining themselves, which is really helping on my side. Lucky you and good for you. I don't know if we'll be able to get Zion Felix back on the line so we can find out from him what his perspective is. In fact, he has said that it affected their businesses, and I don't know if it's for underground, bloggers that's, giving them traction, and for those who are already established, it's giving them, not as much revenue. But we have somebody on the line, Camille from Nungua. Camille.
Yeah, from Nungua we have Camille. Camille, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you want to ask a question or make some contribution? Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to actually ask questions.
Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead.
Please.
You're on air. Camille, we hear you, so speak.
Please, looking at the effect of this pandemic, of this pandemic. Yeah, hello?
Please reduce the volume of your set so that you speak to us on phone directly. It helps, so that we don't have all these interferences. You seem to be having some divided attention because the set is around you. So just reduce the volume on your TV set, yeah?
Okay.
Great.
Please, in fact, due to this pandemic, looking at Ghana here, we are unable to actually feel some feelings of this. We are unable to.
Looks like we're having troubles with Camille there. Let's take the next person on the phone. But this message says, good morning, Roland. The best thing is to encourage online streaming. It's coming from Bismarck Alvin Intimos from Dambai. How are people in Dambai, and how are you guys keeping to the social distancing and the other protocols there? Thank you for watching from Dambai. This one says, I believe government should hasten slowly to consider, okay, you are talking about reopening of schools. Reopening of schools, since we are not sure about the exact trajectory of the virus. Okay, all right. So, Roland, we should go to Joey and wrap up on this conversation.
Yes, and Joey, now, if we want to bring this conversation to a head, it will mean that we see some future ultimately. What really are we looking at? Knowing that in respective countries like Ghana and the rest of the countries, not only on the continent, but in the sub-region, Nigeria, internet penetration is still very poor for the larger numbers of the citizenry.
Okay, for it's a wake-up call to the government to do a lot more infrastructural work. In Nigeria, we've seen it happen. We've seen some progress in Nigeria to help this internet penetration. There's something called right of way. It's a fee that telecommunication agencies would have to pay when they try to lay down cables and get some more work done, lay down underground cables and get some more work done into spaces. So we've seen a number of states reduce that charge, and some people are considering putting a waiver on that charge. So to act as an incentive to telecommunication companies to accelerate penetration. That's when we need to make a huge infrastructural play for that to happen all over the place. And also, on the other hand, platforms that rely on getting on interaction online, that relies on people consuming arts and consuming content online. This is also another stimulus for them to think up new ways to either adapt their work by either reducing the amount of data that they're offering, making it better, making it more pocket friendly, or to strike partnerships with telco agencies for the most platforms with traction. I think, for example, there's nothing stopping how I wish Apple started playing locally now. Nothing stops them from going to the biggest companies and saying, hey, how about you create a special package for us? That we can market to people and say, if you've got your, a bundle, if you've got if we've got this package, we can market it to people and say, hey, come onto Apple Music, come onto Spotify, come onto UdoX, come onto every other platform. And what we'll do is, as long as they're streaming music, it will cost them very little. You're still going to gain because a lot more people would be on it in terms of volume, but it will cost them very little, and it will ease adoption of these services. So on both ends, and for the artists themselves, I've mentioned this before, but just to reiterate, for the artists themselves, they would have to deal with a lot more marketing with their work. Marketing tactics would need to change. Creatives would need to be more aggressive in the way that the market. Creatives would need to be more creative, even in the way that they structure their offerings, their IP, and their content. So it's a shake-up. It's a collective shake-up of every industry. And what I'm most excited about is where the pin drops from now, where everything ends up. But yes, this is the start of something good that advances us. That's how I see it.
Moyi, what should we be doing? The telecommunication companies, do they know that it's their platforms now that we are going to ride on? And as a result of that, perhaps maybe they need to look at their pricing and get into more partnership with their artists, because, the larger part of the continent, we really don't have income to be spending on streams, etc.
You were referring that to me?
Yes, yes, Molotelo.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Yes. South Africa is one of the countries where communication, like your data, is very expensive. We've had campaigns where, people are saying, our telecommunications company, can you look at your pricing? Because that is another problem that as creatives, we can create all the content, musicians can create all the best music, but if the people who are supposed to access that music cannot afford, that is a big problem. That is one. Two, we are looking at a situation now where we've been battling with connectivity. Just ahead of the lockdown, I attended about 2 events where people were complaining about connectivity, to say, can we get our connectivity on track? Because yes, we can talk for IR, we can talk about all these opportunities that we can make use of as creatives in the 4IR era. But if we don't have the infrastructure to make that happen, it's going to be a big challenge. So I've seen that, like now we have experiencing connectivity problems. This is just, an example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we need to go back to the drawing board, and it has to be a multifaceted, we have to use a multifaceted approach, and all the stakeholders to come on board as well. Because creatives, yes, we can think out of the box, but do we have the infrastructure? No, we don't have the infrastructure. I've seen lately that people have been very creative, trying to come up with ways and means, to come up with online streaming platforms for content. Your musicians, I spoke earlier about how musicians have taken advantage of the situation to host your online events. But most of the time, I've seen that, the cost of data, the connectivity infrastructure is the biggest problem that I think we need to work on. And also to stand up and say, as creatives, can we bring the powers that be? Can we do something about this to make sure that, yes, we can create the content, but if we can't get it out there, then that's a huge challenge.
Okay. All right. How do you pronounce your name, Mola?
Molatelo Maineje Bosman.
What? Again? Molatelo what?
Molatelo Maineje Bosman is my husband's surname.
Yeah, that's cool. Bosman is cool. It's right here in Ghana too, so no problem.
Oh, yes, my husband is Ghanaian.
Fantastic. Charlie, you're a Ghanaian.
Yeah. Oh, I love your kitchen, though.
Please, tomorrow, come for your passport. Citizenship is granted in the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, okay? Okay. We wish you all the best for the day.
And I was saying, Molatelo, that I love your kitchen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see enough of it, but what I see a lot.
So discriminatory. Joey, I love your background.
Oh, really? There's nothing in Joey's background. He's dead.
Joey. Joey, and your name, Akan. Is that your traditional name, your surname?
Yeah, that's my surname. It comes from...
That's a language. That's a language.
Are you sure you haven't shortened it? What's the real name, Joey?
It's Akan.
It's what it is. It's Akan. It's from...
So in Akan, so in Ghana...
A part of the Bible where he got it from. Although the part of Nigeria I'm from, Akwa Ibom, it's a very Akwa Ibom, the south part of the country.
Yeah, it's in the films.
We have a lot. It's a very popular name.
Yeah. Akwa Ibom State.
Yeah.
Akan is a language in Ghana.
Yeah, true. Well, we've enjoyed the conversation. And for all of you calling also who have called, we say thank you very much. But we want to wrap up with one or two other comments from Gifty.
Yes, Abel from Wasai Kropon says, I'm really enjoying the show and want to know if government is going to lift the restrictions on social gathering.
We don't know.
We have just a few days, 2 days to know that. Okay, well, let's take it away from there then.
Okay, definitely. And Gifty, thank you also for the comment. And please make sure you keep texting throughout the rest of the day. Just text, don't call. I don't know why you keep calling, but in the meantime, we have to tell you, the National Service Scheme has begun processing prospective National Service personnel for deployment for various sectors across Ghana. Now, MMDAs, ministries, departments and agencies, educational institutions, hospitals, security agencies and private corporate organizations, and those interested in housing service personnel in the 2020-21 service year should make sure that they put in a formal request to the National Service Secretariat. Now, user agencies should make sure also they log on to the website of the Secretariat to submit their requests for personnel. Also, when you're doing the attached names, email addresses and contact numbers of 2 officials to the request. Now, agencies with special needs should make sure that they contact the headquarters directly for discussions. Now, all requests must also reach the National Service Secretariat Head Office by the 30th of June 2020. For further inquiries, visit www.nss.gov.gh. National Service to the nation. All right, and that's what we have to get on to the next one, and also say we apologize to our cherished audiences, especially in the UK, for their inability to access us through the TuneIn app as usual. However, we're available on majoronline.com and adumonline.com. You can also access our streams on Facebook, Android devices, Google Play Store and Apple App Store as Major Online and Adum Online. We are always ready to serve you. We have to take a break. When we come back, we have a time with Nasi, and promises to be exciting.
It does.
It's good that you're hosting here, so it will be a nice time.
Nasi Fitonyo, and he'll be joining us right after this break. You want to stick and stay with us here on the AM show.
Well, we also have to tell you, your convenience and safety means a lot to us. Easy does it. Make sure that you read all the news at home, because there's no need to leave your home or office when the news is now available to you on the go. Get on your device now and download Graphic News Plus from Google Play Store, App Store. Buy your e-copies of the Daily Graphic, the Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, Graphic Sports, as well as videos, free news, and so much more. That's the plus for you. Now, you also further enjoy some 10% discount on monthly subscriptions, 15% for 3 months, and 20% discount for 6 months subscription and beyond. Now, Graphic News Plus, connecting people through news. But it's where we take you to the Abosu Kai Mosque, and Maxwell Agbagba is roving from there. It's the latest disinfection exercise of the place. Maxwell? Maxwell?
Yeah, hello, Roland.
Yes, can you just go ahead, tell us what really is going to happen next? Yes.
So you remember you remember sometime last week, the Chief Imam actually, the spokesperson for the Chief Imam actually mentioned, it was during the Ramadan event at the GBC Studios, he stated that he would be happy if mosques are disinfected before they are reopened actually for prayers. Well, the good news today is that the disinfection of all mosques in the country has started today with a central mosque here at the at Abosu Okai. As I'm speaking to you, we have many sprayers here who've gone around disinfecting the mosque. But thankfully, we have here with us the spokesperson for the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Areme Al-Shaibu. He's here with us. And we're going to interact with him and find out from him what he makes of this. Sheikh, you're welcome to join us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and good morning.
Good morning. Great. Sheikh, sometime last week, as I already mentioned, during your speech, you mentioned that you will be happy, the Chief Imam will be happy to see the disinfection of all mosques before they are reopened for prayers. I want to find out what you make of today's exercise, which has already started.
Yeah, thank you very much. As all of us may recall, speaking on behalf of the Chief Imam, we proposed a whole national program of disinfection of Muslim worship places and educational centers and others. And mosques are one of our worship centers. So we are happy that in response to that, Zoomlion has, in a very speedy manner, they decided to come in together with us to partner in executing this whole program. And we did so actually in anticipation. We are looking forward. We weren't sure at the time what the present decision was going to take. So we are saying in anticipation, if the restrictions are eased, then the first thing to do for us is to do a whole comprehensive program of disinfection of mosques. So we are happy that Zoomlion has decided to quickly come in. I'm sure this has been done in consultation, I'm sure, with the Minister of Health, the Office of the Chief Imam, and other health authorities. So it's a great thing happening to us this morning, and we hope that others will also follow suit.
We are told that the conversation about easing, the possible easing of the restrictions ended on Friday, and you speak to a lot of people, many of them, some of them expectant that the restrictions, will be eased. I want to find out from you what your expectation is. What is the expectation of the Muslim community?
Well, with respect to the restrictions, like I said earlier on somewhere, that since it was imposed, we accommodated it within the frame of our rules of jurisprudence to accommodate such restrictions, and we found that there was nothing wrong with it, and that's how come you find the chief imam adhered to it, and he also directed all imams and the larger Muslim community to also adhere to it, all in a bid to protect life and to also ensure that our health is protected. Now, in that situation, we did not in any way want to put any pressure on government to ease the restrictions. Our point was that we allow government to do a very good assessment of the environment and assessment of the risk involved whenever it is eased. But if in the evaluation of the government comes to the conclusion that time is ripe for the restriction to be eased, then we have no problem. The important thing is that what is left for us to do is to look at the preventive measures and adhere to them, i.e., one of them is the disinfection which is taking place. Another one is making sure that at the entrance of our worship places, we make sure that there is disinfectant, i.e. sanitizers, or the Veronica bucket, where every person will be examined or wash his hand before, and then the temperature gun will also have a volunteer who will be placed there to ensure that we are checking the temperature. We also want to make sure that our ablution bay, the ablution bay is well disinfected, and arrangement are such that no two people will use the same watering can for ablution. We have a tap where once any person finishes, there's a way to disinfect the tap such that the next person can also use. Thirdly, we know that we have a permanent spread of our mats in the mosque, meaning that when one devotee prays, the next devotee might also take the same position. So if the place has been infected, he's most likely to catch the infection. What it means to us is that then we're going to encourage everybody comes with one person, one prayer rag. One person, one prayer rag, which belongs to you. You finish, you take it away. In fact, we are even encouraging personal water cans for Muslims who come to public mosques like this one, that you come with your own water can. You perform your ablution, you carry it away. So these are the things, the protocols that we intend to put together and announce to larger Muslim community so that whether the restrictions is there or not, at least then we have a certain kind of protocol we have put in place. Yeah.
By what you're saying, do you think you'll be able to implement this? Do you think you'll be able to implement this if the restrictions, are eased and you're allowed to go back to the mosque to pray? By what you're saying, all these measures you've listed, do you think you'll be able to implement them?
Okay. Oh yes, yes. If all these measures are, if the restrictions are eased, I'm sure the duty lies on us. The duty lies on us to make sure that we are implementing all these things. What it means is that we make an arrangement. In fact, we mandate a group of people whose duty, for example, each mosque should have a COVID-19 preventive committee. Each mosque should have a COVID-19 preventive committee. That committee will be mandated to enforce all those protocols that we are putting in place. In fact, this thing will not be limited to the major regional mosques alone. In fact, from the national mosque to the regional mosque to district mosque to community mosques and to neighborhood mosques, all these strata will have to be catered for.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure.
Okay. So you just heard from the spokesperson for the National Chief Imam, the Sheikh Arabi Al-Shaibu, telling us what they intend to do to reopen if the president eased the restrictions, and they are to reopen the mosques for prayers. The disinfection will continue here at the Central Mosque at Abossey-Okai. Over to you in the studio.
Not sure I know him.
All right, Maxwell Agbagba, they're joining us from the Abossey-Okai Mosque there. Maxwell, thank you very much.
Yo.
All right, so we're doing Nasi right after this. a summary for me.
The beginning of life wasn't that easy. I mean, you know, a young boy that we were told that at the age of 20, somebody will say, latest by June, all of us will die. And let's say by the age of 20, the doctor says you will die. And today I'm here, you know, we are still enjoying life and continue what God has done. So I would say, I mean, from the beginning, it wasn't that easy. Too many sicknesses and stuff like that. But today, I'm able to, you know, shape our life and then preserve us till today.
Now, see, that's a very politically correct answer to give me. But this morning, it's a Friday morning. We don't want to be politically correct. We want to hear, we want to hear the story. So tell it to give somebody that inspiration. Everybody will say, I've come far. I mean, I have a very unique story, if I should share it with you. You've come from somewhere and you're here today. Give us a few highlights of your story that can inspire people, that you can start very small, but there's always the sky that you should look up as a limit. So what is the Nasir story? You can just give us a summary of it. Where did you come from and where are you? Is it where you've always wanted to be?
Where I started this whole thing from is I was once a church boy. I was sleeping in the church, and I always say that the first in the church and also last to leave. And then also ask me that where am I living? I don't have any other place to go. The church is the place where that is my bedroom, my kitchen, my everything. So I was sleeping in the church for so many years, and then along the way, I just got worried, and I asked myself that where am I going with this life? And at the end of the day, if I'm married today, is it what I'm going to use to take care of my children and my wife? And I was so worried. So I prayed to God. I think along the way, I had an opportunity to travel to UK, and which Dr. Lawrence Tete gave me that opportunity. And after everything, I realized that, no, if I go, the church will suffer. So I still have to wait again and then, you know, continue the suffering. So I rejected the offer and started this whole journey with suffering again. And I mean, telling my pastor, thinking that maybe the situation would change, because I wasn't paid then. You go to church every day, you are there. If the church is buying land, you are the one that they will send you. If they are building, you are the one that will take care of everything, but you are still not paid. You play instrument, nothing. So one day I was just sleeping, and then, you know, this whole thing started. I dreamt that somebody is teaching me, I mean, sound engineer. I was sitting in front of computer, and then this education started coming. So I started moving around other studios and trying to get some physical ideas about what I have seen in the dream. And truly, when I go to the studios, everything that I see in the dream is the same thing that I see in the studio. And I kept on pushing, and gradually, there's this lady in our church, her name is Mama Lydia, and she gave me, today I would say 40 CDs, that I can use it as my transportation to move around, so that any other place I want to go and get stuff done, I can at least learn something. So I remember I recorded my first demo, that is 1992, 93, that I recorded my first demo. And since that time, I've been pushing and following my dream till today. So it wasn't that easy, but you know, life is always is not the way we want, especially we that were not born in a rich home. Definitely you will find it so difficult before you get to your promised land. And even now, I am still not satisfied. I'm still pushing to get to my promised land.
I'm hopeful that your story has inspired somebody, that no matter where you are and what you're going through at the moment, you can always keep pushing. And when you get to a place where people think you're satisfied, you still need to keep pushing. But you have a very unique way of blending your songs. And you said that it's inspired by where you come from. So when you have something like, what's that, or something like that, I mean, how does it occur to you that you should put something together, like string something together like that and put it in a song. And how do you even know whether people will appreciate it and then it will catch on? How did that thing come about, by the way?
You know, that thing, honestly, it wasn't a planned thing, and I'm being very honest, it wasn't a planned thing that I'm putting something like that in a gospel song. When we were recording the song, and then I wanted to just like mime something, put something there, and later I'll play it on the keyboard, and then I'll get it done properly. And fortunately, some of the people that the friends that came in, and when they heard Timbaland Bang Bang, everybody started laughing. And I said, why are you guys laughing? And they said, but what you did there is funny. And I said, oh, okay. Almost everybody, he just got hooked on everybody. And I said, okay, instead of me changing it and play a proper tone, then let me just leave my voice there as the tone that I wanted to play.
Okay.
And seriously, when the song came out, that became even the title of the song. Many of the people don't even know the title of the song. All that they know is Timbaland Bang Bang. Some of them say Bang Bang. So it wasn't really a planned thing, but you know, Bible says that God takes the stupid things of this world to go find the wise.
Of
so
course.
He made it beautiful for us, you know. So I give glory to God for that wonderful idea.
You've also had a stint with politics. You know, you've done some politically inspired songs. Tell us about that journey.
You're talking about Onapo, eh?
Yes, of course.
Onapo was, it was, you know, I'm a sound engineer and I produce music.
Okay,
so
hang on, Nasi. I just want to let my producer so that they will find that song and they will play a little bit of it. Just for those who may have forgotten. We'll just play a bit of that. But do tell us the story. As and when they are ready with it, so we'll call for it.
Okay. I'm a sound engineer, so I produce music, and most people, they will employ your services to do something for them. So during the election, that's the 2015 thereabout, and the NDC, some of the NDC big men approached me that they wanted me to record a campaign song for them. And I said, okay, fine. So we spoke, and then I started putting stuff together. And finally, I think I did about 6 songs for them. And later, when I was, the whole production was done, I said, why don't I just pick pieces of each of the songs and then put them together as, the mouthpiece of the album, what they are, the campaign songs that they are looking for. So
why do you think the NDC approached you? Are you an NDC person?
I am not an NDC person. I'm a musician and a businessman. I started working for MPP. That's the year 2000, when ex-President Kufuor was coming. I did a song for ex-President Kufuor 2000, and then the 2004, I did another song which has the slogan of Yetuaso. So I would say I brought the Yetuaso, I gave it to MPP then, because in my song there was Yetuaso in 2004. In 2008, I joined Nana, current President Nanado's campaign, that is Believe in Ghana. That was 2008. And 2012 too, we did the same thing, which I was a part of the campaign team that we campaigned for NPP. So 2016, and then I asked both parties what they wanted me to do for them. And mostly it is not always the song that they are looking for. Sometimes they are looking for something different. Maybe they want you to maybe record some adverts and other things for them. So we did it for NPP as well. But I mean, NDC wanted a campaign song. NPP then said that they don't, because of before they had the Lumba has recorded a song for them, so they would prefer using that one. So maybe what they would like me to do for them is an advert, which we did the advert for them as well. And so the NDC one is the Onapo, another song that they asked me to do for them. So we work for both parties, and I can't really, put my political destiny out there.
I see. So 2016, I mean, 2020, I beg your pardon, I'm wrapping up. 2020, who has approached you? MPP, NDC, CPP, which one?
As at now, we have both MPP and NDC. Some of their big men, we are talking with them, and some want me to do a campaign song. Right now, almost both of them want me to record a campaign song, and we are still in talking. With them. So we are hoping we come to a final conclusion, and then we decide on what to do. So sure, a MPP or NDC.
Hey, it's all about the business. Your business has come. I wish you I wish you all the best. So before you go though, I want you to say something about coronavirus, how it's affected your production. But I also want you to give us a freestyle. You can make it about the AM show and make it about coronavirus if you want. But how has coronavirus changed things for you?
You know, it's a lot of this kind of, break or pandemic. Unfortunately for us as producers of music, it has really affected most musicians, and all of us are indoors now. We can't even do anything. We can't perform. We can't. Even if somebody is coming to the studio to record, you are even afraid of the person's, health status. So you are quite, afraid. So no one is. You don't even allow anybody to go now. We only work on the phone, then talk to them, and then even when the rhythm is done, you still tell them to wait a little and then make sure things are okay. So everything is seriously slow. Everything is seriously slow. So if we are hoping that the vaccine will be ready any moment, and so that we can just go back to our normal ways of doing business and recording, because that's really slowing everything down. Everything is slow.
Later this afternoon, I'll have a conversation about the impact of coronavirus on relationships. I don't have too much time to go into that. So do for us. Yeah, I'm saying that because I've heard you talk about your wife before and how your wife has been very supportive of you, of your journey. Sure. Yeah. So, you do for us. I don't want my producers to cut off my head. So do for us a freestyle. You can add the politics one, the ones you're doing for the NPP and the NDC.
But that one is secret.
It's secret, okay.
So I should sing one of my songs.
Okay, if that's what you want to do, go for it.
No, I'm asking, is that what you are looking for?
I want a special freestyle for AM show, but anything you want to do, feel free. It's your moment.
Stop me with everything. Stop me with everything. AM show. This morning we're gonna talk about life and everything. AM show, joy. AM show.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, I don't know, but there's something about your rhythm that I feel like I can live in your studio for a year just dancing.
Oh, I would love it if you are here. That will give us a different vibe to,
it will. It sure will. I have to come and make a song for a very special person who is also watching the show. I'll mention his name later. I'll come for that tune for him. Nasi, thank you so much.
That's beautiful.
Thank you so much. It's been a blessing having you this morning. Nasi Fitonyum. So, Nasi is a music producer. We've just been hanging out with him. You've heard his story. I hope that it has inspired you. Look out for his songs and have fun with it. I'm going to go on a very quick break. When I return, we'll talk a bit about real estate, Waylead. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. This is the AM show. So we're ending our conversation throughout the day with somewhere to lay your head, okay? One of the aspirations of everybody is to have a home, a place that you can call your own. I'm having a conversation with Waylead Properties. Emmanuel Nyako is a property consultant and he's here to talk to you about how you can get a place to lay your head, something you can call your own, a property you can own, that will appreciate and not depreciate. So, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So tell us a bit about Waylead Properties.
All right, Waylead Properties is an estate development in Ghana. So far, we've done about 2 projects. We are on our 3rd project. Our first project, Vista de Marin, is at East Airport, 100% sold out with homeowners living in.
100% sold out?
Yes, please.
Wow.
And our second project, Le Jardin Symphonique at Sakomono, 50% completed, about 70% occupied now, and we are still developing the other 50%. Then our new baby, Alphabet City, 2-3 bedroom apartment, also at Sakomono.
Okay. Sakomono is close to Tema, where I was born. It's a very good place to live. So what is the current project, that you're working on?
Also, so the current project we are working on is the Le Jardin Symphonique, 3, 4, and 5 bedroom townhouses with all the facilities that you need in a gated community. It's a gated community with 24/7 security, asphalt roads, backup water, and electricity. We take security very serious in our gated community as well.
Okay.
Then we have our Alphabet City, which will be completed somewhere October this year.
Where is that?
Also at Sakomono.
Sakomono,
So
okay.
also a gated community, but an apartment kind of 6-floor apartment with elevator, and also with all the other facilities that you need.
Is that how your rooms look like?
Yes, please.
Really?
Yes,
That
please.
looks like a plush hotel. That looks amazing.
Yeah, our apartment concept is more or less like a hotel concept.
Okay.
So you are living in an apartment, but then you have all the management services running from laundry and water supply and every other thing will be provided for you.
Is that a kitchen?
Yes, please.
Oh my God, I'm already falling in love with this kitchen. Can I take it to my house?
Don't worry, we'll give you one house on a good discount.
Okay, but there are so many real estate agencies right now. Everybody, is building one property or the other. What makes Waylead unique?
All right. So a lot of people are selling houses. Waylead is selling you a home. Okay. So we are not just selling the house to you and leaving you alone. We are selling you a home with all the amenities. For example, our project at East Airport comes with a swimming pool, a clubhouse, a gym, and everything that you need. So during this period that we are saying don't go out, stay home, you can stay in the estate and still have all the facilities that you need and everything that you need to make life comfortable. So that is what Waylead is providing. Okay. We are the only company that will also give you a very good discount on our houses during this difficult
Okay,
time.
so you have a COVID discount on your house?
Yeah, we have a COVID discount, and the good news is that for the frontline workers, we have a special package for them.
Wow.
We understand that we are in difficult moment. Last Friday, we did a lot of donation to Ghana Medical Association and Ghana Police Service, about 20,000 PPEs to them. And we are not leaving them alone. Together with the media, we are saying that we are giving a special discount to all frontline workers. Yeah. All that you need to do is to prove to us that you are a frontline worker, and we say AYICO with a very special package to you. Okay. Those of us who are not frontline workers, we also have our discount packages, 10% on our apartment, 5% on our townhouses, also available for you.
But for the frontline workers like myself, what's the package?
For frontline workers like yourself, you are getting the discount, and afterwards we are also giving you furnitures and home appliances of up to 40,000 Ghana cedis on the townhouses, and up to around 25,000 on our apartment. Wow. So we are giving you those appliances in your house.
Okay, that's our payment terms. I mean, these days money is hard to come by, of course, especially in COVID-19. It's mind-boggling. Is there a payment plan that you have?
Yes, at Waylead, we are not asking you to bring us all the money at a go. We know we are in difficult moment. Of course, if you have all the money, we'll take and say thank you. But if you don't, we have up to 2 years payment plan on our townhouses. So you make a down payment and give you up to 2 years to pay for it. On our apartments, we can give you up to 5 years payment plan. And beside that, we also work with our mortgage partners, GHL Bank, Republic Bank, Stanbic Bank, Absa Bank. We work with them so they can help you get a loan to pay for the house, and they can give you between 5 to 15 years to repay for it. So our payment plans are very flexible.
All right. Okay. So then how do people get in touch with Waylead if they want to?
All right. So you can get in touch with us on our telephone numbers. I think they're on the screen, or on our website.
They're not on the screen at the moment, but can we put up the numbers on the screen for Waylead? Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so you can also visit us on www.waylead.org.
Okay.
www.waylead.org. and you can get through to us there.
Do you have your numbers offhand so we can just give it to people who are ready with their pens?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's go for
it. So 020 245 8166.
Okay, 245-8166.
Yes, please.
245-8166. You want to take down this number. Get in touch with Waylead to go and have a view at these beautiful properties you're seeing on your screen right now. Let's go through the number again. 020
245 8166.
8166. All
yes,
right.
Please.
And then waylead.org.
www.waylead.org.
Right.
And then on all social media pages, Waylead Ghana. You can find us there on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all the other social media pages. You can find us there.
All right. Thank you so much for passing through. You have some final comments, it looks like? Go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that even during this difficult time, if you can't make time to visit our offices, what we do is that when you go to our website, you can do a virtual tour. So you can see all our houses on our website.
Right.
You can enter all the rooms digitally, and then we are ready to serve you.
Okay, thank you so much. Right.
And we should stay home during this particular moment if you don't have anything to do. COVID-19 is rare. So let's do that.
So stay home, stay with Waylead. You want to do a virtual tour on their website. We have to wrap up the show. By the way, I have to say a quick happy birthday to Kelona Ade Nikwe, aka Baby Na of Star Avenue School, Kokomlemle. You're 6 years today. You're a true blessing. We love you, cherish you. May God guide your steps in the days of your life. This is coming from your mom and dad. And happy birthday to Samilia Aite, a national service nurse at Mount Proby Polyclinic, from Dennis Thompson. And I say a big thanks to all of you for watching. It's been me and Roland Walker here on the AM show. Special thanks go to Justice Anand for watching as well. Thank you so much. My name is Gifty Ando Apia. It's a good morning.